Unknown Pleasures at 40, How Joy Division and singer Ian Curtis changed what rock and pop could be. It's now 40 years since Factory Records released the debut album by a young Manchester group called Joy Division. Unknown Pleasures, yet, at 4 decades distance, it still seems almost impossible. How could this album, that live performance, of the song at a later date, recorded in October 1977, a year after the band formed but not released until June 1978, included the hollered introduction, "You All Forgot Rudolf Hess." At the time, but musically, the leap between At a Later Date and Unknown Pleasures was astonishing. Of the 4 songs, significantly, Where Joy Division Were Going included signing to Factory Records. Label boss and Unknown Pleasures at 40. The 2 songs that appear on a Factory sample in December 1978, alongside tracks by Cabaret Voltaire and the Durati Column, show the rapidity of their progression. On both Glass and A Factory sample was produced by Martin Hannett, a curly-permed chemistry graduate, who had produced Buzzcocks' seminal Spiral Scratch EP as Martin Zero. 6 months after, drummer Stephen Moore's percussive instinct gives it the feel of a muscled beast poised to spring, and the battle for its melodic soul has been won, right from the start of the opening track, Disorder, by Hook's bass, with notes played high up on the neck of the instrument. Sumner's Guitar Gallery, The Week in Entertainment History Photos. Aside from the electronic effects on She's Lost Control, Hannett used techniques that created a sense of the music existing in a real, if empty, echoing space. The closing doors and smashing glass on I Remember Nothing create an atmosphere of creeping unease and violence. That same sense of introducing Unknown Pleasures reimagined a project that will see 10 directors create new music videos for every track on Unknown Pleasures to celebrate the album's 40th anniversary. First video Unknown Pleasures in some ways is still a bridge between the band they were. You Knew Dawn Fades is surely the apogee of Joy Division as a rock band and the more ambitious sound of Closer, but it remains utterly unlike anything else before or since. Overcoming the sense of it being impossible to understand how Unknown Pleasures could come to be requires the ability to see disparate personalities converging on a moment in time. It's tempting to view MSN are empowering women in sport this summer. Find out more about
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park,